Mediocre Man Channel. I'm here with Brian at the Redemption Ranch in California. How are you doing?
I'm doing well.
So Brian, the reason why you're here today is we're doing a compare and contrast with a shed cabin versus a barn dominium, okay?
So I can't be a mediocre man.
You're not a mediocre man, you're far from it.
All right.
So what I want you to do is explain to my viewers your attitude and your process in both building this structure and in decorating it and doing the interior.
Sure. So this started out as a dilapidated is too kind of a word, horse barn, gaping holes, dirt floor, snakes, tarantulas, you name it, basically falling down. But I wanted to use that footprint, and I thought within that footprint I could build something that would end up being like a fantasy place that I'd want to come to.
How many years did you own this ranch before you started out on the journey of rehabilitating the barn into a barn dominium?
Yeah, so that's a little embarrassing. So I bought this place around 1999, but only started building about 2 years ago. Went through a divorce, other fun stuff in life.
So for 19 years, you had a trailer on here?
18, 19 years, yeah.
And a dilapidated barn.
Yes.
And so, was it always your plan to do something as awesome as this, or did that come over time?
It came over time, and it became more of a need, kind of the work that we do. We need a place where we can come and disconnect, decompress, kind of like shut out the world. And this is my own private Idaho, but it's in California, and it's away from everything. I'm off the grid here entirely. I'm my own everything, power, water, septic, you name it. And once I started, then I kind of went into the process that I do in my life where, insane amount of research, getting very special pieces, one-off pieces I had made from basic, dealing with artists, things that I designed that I would then have implemented. So it unfolded over time, but it really took off in the last 2 years. So for about 18 years, basically dormant. I would come up here from time to time, but it was never to stay. I mean, maybe in the camper or maybe in a tent, but then it started unfolding.
Would it be fair to say that your attitude in both building and decorating this structure was that the attitude of it's good enough was not the way you were doing it?
Yeah, I don't, for better or worse, but mainly worse, I don't have that attitude in life.
Right, so your attitude is, if I understand it correctly, is you kind of want the best of the best. Once you've honed in on an item, you research it, and then your compulsion, so to speak, is to get the best of the best.
You're being very kind. Guilty. Yes. Yes.
And do we have a term for that?
Yeah.
What do we call that?
No, it's not the mediocre man, but I want to be.
Well, we call that altmanizing.
Yeah, we do call it altmanizing.
All right, so
I have altmanized this place.
all right, and so what we're going to do is go over some of it, not all of it,
Okay.
to show the special items that you have inside and out. And then in the second half of the video, I'll show you the shed cabin that I have on my property and show you the sort of it's good enough but still awesome approach. So let's start off with these bar stools. Tell us the story behind them.
Sure. So this place kind of screams Old West. I've got a certain motif running through it. You'll see from some of the other items. So naturally, this island I had designed, I used, there's a local cowboy that actually doubles as, or daylights as a carpenter, and I designed this island, kitchen island. I wanted something big. We were friends and family, could be hanging out. I'll get to these, source the zinc top. Zinc's naturally antimicrobial, so it's good for food development, food prep. It patinas nicely, so you can't go wrong over time no matter what you do. So naturally I needed something that was going to be consistent with this look, and I searched high and low and far and came up with these bar stools. They're not the only ones on the market that are saddle bar stools, but I wanted this that had a nice basic simple base that would be strong enough. We tend to be kind of big guys. My little brother here he's only like 6'2" and maybe 200. I'm 6'4" and maybe 220, 230. So we needed something that was...
They're pretty comfortable too,
Yeah.
right?
Yeah.
Brian, we're here in front of, what do you call this?
This is a knife display.
All right. And the display itself looks like it's got tooled leather.
Tooled leather, and it's also got crown stag handles. It's got antler knife holders, as you can see. The same guy that I had build the island, he was actually able to come up with this. He had never heard of something like this, but we worked together, got the right stain, the right distressing, and in it, so a recent passion are knives. Not only have I been buying some knives, I also want to make knives. I've been starting to make them a bit. You know, again, a continuation of we need to do something, you know, to kind of break away from the stuff that we do professionally. So I've got, my collection is, my attitude on this is collect, if you're going to collect dead or nearly dead legends. So these are mainly dead or nearly dead legend knife makers.
Wow. Okay. What qualifies as nearly dead? Is that age or disease?
No, that means dead. They have no pulse. They're buried.
Oh, I thought you said nearly dead. Dead and nearly dead.
Nearly dead are
Yeah,
there is generally age, or you know that they've
So
got
you have
some
any like
illness.
20-year-old knife makers that you know have cancer, so you bought their knives?
No.
Oh, okay.
Yeah. And then and I've added to it. So I've got this I had made. Wanted to bring in the.
I can't see that. So you want me to do that?
Whatever. I mean, whatever you want to do.
All right. Are we done with the knife
Yeah,
thing?
kind of completed. So I found a company. It's about a 170-year-old Norwegian company, Jodel. They're one of the few companies that make all cast iron stoves, wood burning stoves. This is an all cast iron, meaning there's no other thing going on. Had this put in. Realized once I had it in, so part of this is trial and error, that the heat, notwithstanding the heat shield and notwithstanding it being placed at regulation distance, I needed to put in some half bricks that I kind of sourced that I wanted the right color. Found I still needed to protect the wood behind this even higher, so I found this 100 or so year old French fireback that kind of had that hunting theme, Hercule or Hercules, fighting the boar. Found out I still didn't have the right protection, so I did some research, my usual thing, and sourced this commercial copper that's about 1/4 inch thick, and with an inch air screen or airspace behind it, so it would radiate the heat out. And it was tough, but I jigsaw and angle grinder, but matched the contours of the antique fireback from France. So that's going on. Want me to continue?
Mm-hmm.
Okay. So I've got a black bear. I tried to get things that are from this area. So I have a black bear hanging on here. I didn't shoot it. Didn't shoot any of the animals here, but nonetheless I bought them. And then found a company out of, I think, Texas that put this together for me. Again, something I designed. I picked the animal skin for it, the cowhide, particular cowhide, longhorn steer horns. It's a great chair. It's actually comfortable. It works. Found some Pennsylvania bluestone or some slate for under the wood burning stove. And this kind of finishes the corner. I was turned on to this local artist there, Robert Kelly, and he and I talked and we came up with different faces, different, kind of like styles for Clint Eastwood.
Yeah.
And I came up with this one and I said I wanted it big. He had never done something this large, I think. So it was 6
So
feet
just
by
so we're clear, you hired an artist to paint that custom for you.
Yes,
That's a one-off.
it's a one-off. And it's 6 feet by 6 feet. Got a nice basic red kind of schoolhouse kind of like setup here that is nice.
It's about the corrugated metal ceiling versus the plywood ceiling.
Sure. So what I left intact in this place is the rafters and the plywood ceiling. And that's the original. That goes way back when this dilapidated horse barn was still standing the way it was. And I came up with this. I wanted to bring again in this outside element. So I have a corrugated metal, heavily rusted, naturally rusted. And I have gone and done a whole segment or section of it so that the ceiling has this different pattern. It's got the natural plywood with the rafters, and then we have a piece that's we're rusted corrugated, and then we go back to the plywood with the rafters. And it's a nice contrast. It sets it off nicely. So
It looks great. It looks
Thank you,
really
thank you.
good. Really good. Nice job. Who gave you the idea for the corrugated metal in the
Well,
roof.
so here's the thing.
Let's
So
see.
I'm gonna indulge him and say that he came up with it, but it was
Who's
something
he?
that I had also thought of.
Who's he?
What's the guy's name? Glenn.
No, the mediocre man.
Oh, right. Right.
Let's try that again.
Right.
Who gave you the idea to put the corrugated metal in the ceiling?
Well, I know who thinks they gave me the idea. It's
Who's
the
that?
mediocre man.
All right, there we go. Well, let me put it to you like this. Before I'd mentioned it, had you done it?
And I didn't do it for a long time afterwards. I had to build up the funds.
And then I kept asking you.
Yeah.
Looks great.
Thanks. Okay, so the bathroom here. Story on the bathroom. There's a couple stories on it. So one is, again, sticking with this theme of,
Well, number
Old
one is
West.
urine.
Old West. So I found this this woman that's she's a handicapped artist, but she sandblasts, and I got her to sandblast the shower door, and it kind of looks like you could imagine Clint Eastwood silhouetted or a cowboy silhouette. It didn't have to be Clint Eastwood, so that's kind of cool. The tiles in there is this copper metal alloy. That's really it's a great shower tile. Costly. Then I put this, you can see all the Western themed, kind of like the setup here. Everything looks like it's right out of the Old West. This wall, kind of the cowboy wall, it's got this kind of camera obscura, blacked out look with cowboy scenes or Western scenes spaced about. Old time looking toilet, but actually very functional and not old itself. I've got, even the light is a 6-shooter gun light with a miner's lantern, and cowboy prayer, which is always a nice thing. It's not about cowboys, it's about the Old West, but it looks cool. This is a nice piece. This is a copper lampshade that has a horse motif again, with some mahogany wood with inlaid turquoise. And again, just specialty items, specialty pieces. Nothing in here is a one-off except for the shower door that I had made. And the tiles, I brought in the tiles of the camera obscura cowboy wall, brought in one line of that in the shower itself, so that kind of tied it in to the shower. I don't know if you can see that, but, well, anyway, it's in there. One line of it.
All right, very good.
Again, a little more of a story here. I found this artist and designed these chairs along with the artist, and I came up with this. I picked a leather pattern color. She was tied into a family that is of Navajo background that had been weaving for 400 years, so I kind of picked the design with some buffalo nickel heads kind of around it and had these two chairs made. This couch is a bison or buffalo leather couch with some specialty pillows on it. I've got my little Remington there to kind of like set it off. This table, again, another artist one-off, has carving in it of a red-tailed hawk. We have a lot of hawks around here. Wanted that. So all of this took a little bit of time, a little bit of thinking, and a lot of tracking down and research.
How much time would you say you put into just the interior of this place as far as decorating it?
Couldn't even tell you. It's free time because I also raise kids. I have a full-time practice like you, and other responsibilities. But it's my, it's almost like it is an indulgence. I can get away and do this stuff.
Is it, well, I guess it would be a hobby, right? And then
Sure.
also somewhat of a compulsion?
Sure, I had to almanize here as well. Yes. Okay, so this I call the bunk room or the bunk quarters, sleeping quarters. Actually can fit about 12 people. We've had a ton of people here. Hand-tooled leather chair, cowboy scene, cow scene. This desk I actually
Did you
have
just say
a-
cow semen?
Cow scene, yes, cow scene.
Wait, I'm not understanding. You
Yeah.
got cow semen on your seat?
Yeah, I know. It's I gotta wipe it off a lot. So this I had since I was a kid. It's a antique tiger oak. You can't get that anymore. Desk. My son now uses it. Got a banker's lamp. Nice rustic American flag. Some guns locked up. We're safe here. But basically, a place where you can work. It's comfortable and almanized.
And what do you do with this ranch for fun?
So, I quad, I shoot,
Ride horses?
Ride horses, you name it.
So, looking at the floor, what is this?
Okay, so this is actually a ceramic that looks very rustic. It looks like wide plank natural oak floors. And look, I wanted this to last a long time. I went overboard on below the ceramic tile. I have this great underlayment that gives a nice softness to it. No matter what we do here, I wanted it simple so that if you spilled something, dropped something, it was going to be fine. And it's nice. It's nice. And
What's the floor?
wood would have been insane in terms of price, although that hasn't.
So this is less expensive than than putting on a wood floor.
It might be, but it's certainly going to last longer and it's a lot easier. It's a lot easier to maintain.
Wait, so I'm good. You said the wood's more expensive, or this is more
The
expensive?
wood is probably more expensive.
So
Probably.
this is less expensive, but you felt it was better for your utility in this
Exactly.
situation.
Exactly.
And you like the way it looks.
Yeah.
Go ahead and explain about the barn door and the wood that you use for the exterior.
Okay. So the wood here is reclaimed wood. This is actually reclaimed wood from a barn tear down back east. Had it shipped out here. And then in applying it, what I did first, which is kind of unusual for this area, unusual for California, you see this up in places where it rains a lot more like Washington or Oregon, is I had a rain screen system put on. So the idea is to prevent mildew and other stuff, but it's got a rain screen backing. And then I found some nice hunky hardware that I did the tracking for and put these sliding barn doors on.
Why haven't you battened the gaps?
Okay, so I'm torn on which way I'm going to go on this. I don't know if I want batten because it might be too busy looking. I might do some rusted metal strips. I haven't decided what I'm going to do, but in the meantime, I'm fine leaving it like this until I can, kind of.
So it's still in process.
It's still in process. It's a work in process. All right. So, any mediocre man or not needs a toy store workshop. So I had this built, and it kind of blends into the landscape with the color scheme. My usual.
How many square feet is it?
This is probably also about 1,600 square feet. It's about, it's about 1,200 square feet. It's 30 by 40.
Okay.
Got it, yeah. And, like with everything else, I have security cameras. This whole property's mic'd.
Nobody's coming here, don't worry.
But the fun stuff's inside.
All right, let's see. Go ahead and tell us about this.
Okay, workshop. So what do we have? We also have a toy area. So we've got one of the quads here, and some of the others are out. Bike, lawn tractor, other equipment. My vintage Ford pickup truck.
Oh yeah, there it is.
I love-hate relationship. What else do I have? So
You have
I've
an
got
anvil right here.
Yeah. So I've got a Bridgeport milling machine. This is for. There's a lot of things you can do on a Bridgeport.
Name one.
Takes. Well, you can drill. You
Drill
can
what?
mill.
What are you drilling?
You can drill. Well, when you make a knife, handles, when you're milling the metal, whatever you want to do.
Yeah.
This is a iconic American machine. Matching it is a vertical bandsaw by Grove.
Oh wow.
Yeah. So these are two serious machines. I had to have the whole electrics changed.
What are you cutting with the bandsaw?
Metal. So you're cutting.
So
metal.
how wide is the blade as far as like how much?
The blade's not so wide, but this is very powerful. You can kind of get a better shot over here, but I've got a belt grinder for the making knives. I've actually made some knives. An air filtration system, workshop, more grinders, vices, an antique anvil.
Do you think you'll ever be like good enough at knife making that you could actually sell your knives for real money?
I have no idea.
No idea.
But
is that the goal or not the goal? Is the goal
No.
just to do it for yourself?
Goal is to do it for me,
Gotcha.
but yeah. So,
Very cool. And then,
Yeah.
when's the last time you rode that bike, dude?
about a week ago.
Oh yeah, how
Yeah.
was it?
It was all right.
Let's start that guy up, man.
It's just it's not as fun as a pit bike. It's fine. I go I follow Michael around on his quad.
Yeah. Yeah, it's just
Yeah,
I know what you're saying.
It's fine.
Well, it'd be good for motocross.
Yeah, except the
Doing some
problem
real
is
jumps.
it's a dual purpose, so it's not great for motocross.
Oh, it's dual
And
purpose?
it's not great for the highway.
Yeah, but the
But
benefit,
it works on both.
but the benefit is year round you can go to
I
all
can
the
go
trails in
anywhere. I can go
California.
anywhere.
Yeah.
I can literally. I don't need to bring anything. I can just go anywhere, and yeah,
So do you spend a lot of time in here away from your wife?
away from everyone.
Okay.
Away from everyone.
Very nice.
Yeah. What do you think?
Oh, that's awesome.
Do you like it?
Yeah.
Is this kind of like what you thought I had set up?
Yep. That's exactly what I thought.
Yeah.
Very good.
So pretty cool.